Hi, my name is Edmund, and this is Kaleidoscope, an educational podcast hosted by me and my friends Josh, and Cynthia. Our podcast is sort of a one-stop shop for everything career-related with the help of industry insiders. We present you with a broad spectrum of professions with as many perspectives through personal testimonies as the colors of a kaleidoscope. And today is a very special day, guys, because we have with us Olivier Mas, who used to work for the French Secret Services. And it's a very, very impressive career, and we're very excited to have you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to.
It's really our pleasure. Great honor to have you on. Yeah. And we're just gonna jump into the 10 simple questions, just to get the ball rolling, and then after that we'll go on to more questions that are more related to your career, I guess. So the first one is beach or sightseeing.
Yeah, usually it will be sightseeing, but I'm a bit tired these days, so I would say beach.
Okay, books or movies? Obviously, you've written books.
Yeah.
But which ones do you?
Yeah,
do you like
both
best?
are very important for me, but I would say books if I have to choose one of the two.
Your favorite ice cream flavor?
Lemon.
Lemon.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Favorite country to visit? Either that you have been to or not. You decide.
Yeah, I would say during COVID time that it's over the visit of other countries. So I will stick to France if I can give you this answer.
Sure. Yeah,
it's a nice country to visit.
It is a beautiful country. Yes. Your favorite song? Obviously, that one's a little hard. But...
Yeah, I don't have a favorite song. It changes every month, so no songs coming to my mind, really.
Okay, all good. You're stranded on an island. What are 3 items you take, or 3 things you take?
Yeah, I'll have a satellite phone, and then an extra battery for my satellite phone, and maybe an Army Swiss knife.
It's very, very resourceful. Very practical, yes. If you can eat one food for the rest of your life, what would you eat?
It should be strawberry pie.
Strawberry pie.
I'll be very fat, but very happy.
Your favorite movie?
I would say The Last of the Mohicans.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I've watched that, yes. A book you think everyone should read?
I would like to say Graham Greene, the Power and the Glory.
Okay, I haven't read that, but
so
you should add it to the list.
So you should, yeah.
Yes. 3 people you would have dinner with. Dead or alive?
But yeah, they can be dead.
Yes, obviously they'd be alive for the dinner, but yeah.
Yeah, so I would say Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and Oleg Gordievsky. Maybe it's a spy thing. He was a former KGB officer, and he worked for the MI6, the British MI6, and he's a very interesting guy. So I'd like to interview him for my YouTube channel. It would be great. So
you already had a KGB spy on your YouTube channel, right? It wasn't him?
No, it wasn't. No, Oleg Gordievsky is a very. It's at a level that the information he was giving was sent directly to Margaret Thatcher, to President Reagan, and so on. So it's very high level.
Okay. So this was, when was this? Was this Cold War?
Yeah, it was Cold War. Yeah.
Okay.
The guy is still alive, though. I think.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. So now we get on to the real questions, if I can say that. And so I think the good place to start would be for you to explain sort of your career, what you did in life. Just give us an overview of everything that.
Yeah, so I'm a former officer in the army. So I spent about 13 years in the in the army, special forces, and cavalry regiment. So it was, and I've done Saint-Cyr. The Saint-Cyr schools it's a French equivalent for West Point, or Sandhurst for the British. And then I joined the DGSE, the French Secret Services, in the beginning of the 2000s, year 2000s. And I stayed there, during 15 years. So for the first 3 years of my time in the Secret Services, I was in a small clandestine unit, doing clandestine mission with a fake ID, fake job. Everything was fake. I had a double life, like you can imagine or see in the movies. So I did that for 3 years, and then I passed an exam in the army to increase my rank, and so I did 1 year of study, 1 year and a half, and then I came back as a more classical intelligence officer in the counter-terrorism business. And then, I was head of station abroad in the southeast, and then in the Middle East. And so after 15 years in the Secret Services, I decided to stop and to quit, to have a more balanced way of life, more focus on the family. And so, I spent 1 year in Canada, and then from there I started a YouTube channel. The name is Talks with the Spy. The first 15-20 videos are translated into English. I have added English subtitles, but the other one more recently you don't find the subtitles, so it's all in French. I'm sorry for the Anglophones. But I was always looking for Anglophone subscribers, Anglophones viewers, but they didn't come, So it was taking me too much time, so I stopped giving the subtitles of my videos. And so I've written two books also about my time in the Secret Services. One speaking about my first years as a classical intelligence officer, to show to the public how is the life of a secret agent, and then the training, the selections, and so on. And my second book is about clandestine operations, with my example also, but also with the example of 5 other great clandestine operatives. Two people, one woman and one man from the French resistance during the Second World War II, with World War II. And then an agent from KGB, one from Mossad, and then one American officer of the custom officer who infiltrated the drugs cartel of Pablo Escobar. So that's it, I think. And now, so I'm retired. I try to continue my YouTube channel. I would like to very much to write a book, a novel, a spy novel, of course. I'd like also to join the television or cinema industry. So I'm working with the guy to write a story, a spy story for a series, a spy series. So we'll see.
Okay. And I think from me, the first question is if we can just go back in time to maybe your school life. Like, what were you like as a kid at school? Middle school, high school. What were your interests?
Yeah, my father was also an officer in the army, and so we moved all the time. So I've been changing school for every 2 or 3 years, and I've lived abroad also several times, and one of these was in Lebanon. So I was 9 years old it was from 9 to 12, and we lived there. It was a very powerful experience because it was during the Civil War. But once you are inside a civil war, you understand that sometimes it's peace, and you have sometimes it's fightings, and sometimes the fightings occurred not in the same neighborhood, so you can live normally, and you can go to the beach, you can go skiing. So life was interesting though at this time. So I was reading a lot. I was drawing a lot. I was drawing comics. I was playing tennis, something like that. So lots of sports also. It was happy times, even though I spent these 3 years during the Civil War. But it's a good all good memories for me.
Okay. And then was military service compulsory coming out of high school? Because I know in some countries, like I think maybe even in Germany, in South Africa at one point, it's compulsory that you go into the army for at least a year.
Yeah, it's no more compulsory. I think it has been the changes has been done by President Chirac in the 90s, 1996, I think. So during my time, it was compulsory, but I decided to join the army anymore. So I've passed the exam for Saint-Cyr, and so I didn't have to.
Yeah. And did you, as a kid, as a child, what did you think you were going to do? Did you always knew you wanted to go in the army? Did you ever think about secret services as a kid?
Yeah, I always wanted to do to join the army, I think, and my mother didn't like the idea because her father too was an officer in the army. And so she didn't want her sons to become a soldier, and so she always pushed me to expand my views and to see something else and try something else. So I said, I told her that it will be the army or I will be a comics books creator. So maybe she said, okay, maybe let's go to the army. It will be safer.
And when did you make the decision to go into secret services? When did you have that change inside of you?
Yeah, so during my first when I was a child, I remember my father had a friend who was inside the secret services, and I had some glimpses about his history of his adventures. It was very blurry because I had no details, but I listened to my parents talking about his life, and I had some. It seemed very, very impressive, and I think that something kept into my mind, and said that maybe at one point for my career, secret services could be interesting. So I start my career in a classical way, but classical, I mean, I had 4 years inside the French Special Forces. But after that, in the classic career of a military officer, after your first years where you have operational missions and you stick to the ground, you have your men, you are in a platoon or company commander. But then you become a staff officer in headquarters, and it's more office job, and it's quite boring, I think. So I knew that joining the secret services will give me more adventure or more spice in my life, if I can say it like that. And so I was not disappointed. Of course, there's a lot of work too, intellectual work. You work a lot on your computers and you think a lot, you make a lot of research, but you still have this this work on operational work on the ground with the pressure of failing or with the joy of succeeding of success or secret success that you can never share to anybody else, instead of just your hierarchy or your leaders or your.
This may be a question that is, almost foolish to ask, but as a secret service agent, when you go abroad, what is the main purpose of you being there? What is your main purpose of your job?
Yeah, that's not a stupid question at all. I mean, the mission is to gather information, gather intelligence, and it depends on the country where you send. I mean, so everything that the French government needs knowledge. So the political background on the country you are in. You try to identify who are the leaders, who are the people important, and try to get much information about them. You try to collect emails, telephones. Of course, we'll try to listen to them and to intercept messages and to understand the secrets. You can do some counter-terrorism work, counter-proliferation. In some of the countries where I was posted, there was this danger of these threats of weapon of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, or nuclear or missile technologies. Some countries in the world, like North Korea, if some countries give them money, they will give you some technology, and this technology will spread out, and will try countries like France tries to stop this leaking of technology. So you have to understand to identify to stop the ship who are sending some materials to the country where you are in, to catch these boats and to send them back, or to identify the agents, the North Korean agents who are traveling to the country where you are. Things like that. It's very. When you are posted, you answer the questions to the analysts that are in Paris, and no matter if they belong to the counterterrorism or the political sector or the counter-espionage, every one of them are sending you questions, and you have to try to answer to their questions, and to recruit sources, to recruit human sources to be able to give the right answers.
And sort of in terms of the training for carrying out all these tasks, that was learned at Saint-Cyr, or
No, Saint-Cyr, it's really for the officers in the classic army. So you learn how to give orders to a platoon, and it's you learn how to manage your man, to read a map, to understand things like that. The weapon, the legal system, also the morale. But so all the spy knowledge is secret. So you learn this once you are inside the service. Once you have passed the exams, when you have passed the psychological tests, and there is also counter-espionage interview and a lot of checks about your family, your past, to see if you can be one of them. So it's just at this time that you can learn and you can be trained specifically to this kind of work.
How much time do you have between the moment you do the entrance exam? Maybe we'll come back to the entrance exam after, because I'm sure that's very interesting. But how much time is there between the end of the entrance exam and when you can be sent onto the field, and what sort of information is given to you? What makes you ready to go on the field?
Yeah, so for my first clandestine mission, I think it took me 1.5 years. and then I've been sent after 1 year and a half. But usually it's more 3 and 4 or 5 years before for an analyst before being sent abroad. So it takes a lot of time because we need people who are trained, calm, and who understand what we are looking for. We understand how the machine works. And so for my clandestine mission, it was a simpler. I mean, because it was I have just myself to
manage or take care of.
Yeah, to manage. Exactly. So, and I have my past of military officer at the French in operations. So they knew that I could easily manage my own. You can, all these agents belonging to this clandestine little small units, you can send them right away with just $1 in the pocket in a country all over the world. They will manage to find their way and to do their missions and so on. So they have this kind of quality of capacity. So it's why I've been sent earlier, I think, when I was there in this clandestine unit.
And in terms of, I don't know, maybe you can, in terms of the people that you worked with and everything, what do you think are the most common characteristics of a Secret Service agent, or somebody in your field?
Yeah, I think you have to be honest. I think the honesty, maybe it can be strange because you are lying to the people you meet. But it's always, and you are sent to, in another country, very far away from your service and your authorities. And if they can't trust you, if you're lying all the time and you're lying to your own service, I mean, it creates a lack of trust. And we are looking for intelligence, true intelligence. We are looking for the truth. So if you can't, your service can't trust you, you can't work like that. So I would say really, and it can sound surprising, but it's the honesty. It's very important. I think
it's profound. That as you said, you're living this double life, but you also say honesty is the most common characteristic. I think it's profound. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because you're lying for your work, but with a purpose and for the interest of the state. So it's a higher interest. And so, yes, you're lying. But even during my career, when I was working with my human sources, I was trying not to lie to them. I mean, we had an understanding between them and me. I am an intelligence officer. You are a source. You are paid sometimes for your work, for your intelligence. You know the risks. If you are coached by the local services, I won't be able to help you. If I can help you, we'll try to make you escape from the country. If you, but there was a clear contract and there was no lie. And I tried not to lie to my sources.
Sounds like there's a big psychological background in all of this as well. How sort of how do I word this question? How much psychology did you learn throughout your studies?
Yeah, but during the training we had this course, a psychology course that was well done, I think, but it was not too long. But it's about how there are different types of people. That was there are the people who are who wants to plan everything in advance, and they don't like surprises. And there are other people they never plan in advance, and they do everything one day for the next. And so when you understand that there is these two types, and there are more than two types, of course, but there are different types of this of category of person, you have to learn the empathy. And so if you are dealing with someone who needs to plan, so you have to call him 2 weeks before and say, can we meet, and things like that. But if you are speaking to someone who doesn't plan anything and you tell him, okay, we'll meet in 1 month, he doesn't care. He won't note it, and he won't. So this was one of the lessons of that I've learned for this time. I think the best training in psychological training is the experience in itself. So you have to do it yourself. You have to work with people. You have to recruit them. You have to convince them. You have to make them talk. You have to, and it's why it's an agent is the best of the agent after 5, 6, 8 years, because he has learned experience, something that you can't learn in the books and with teachers. You have to work it and to be inside it. And so it's. I think I left my service after 15 years, and I know a lot of things. I mean, I think it's terrible for a service to lose someone like me. I don't know that they tried. They didn't try a lot to keep me, but a little though. But I think yes, the experience in this field is so important. Maybe in all kind of work. I mean, when you lose a specialist that has been doing the same job for 20 years, you're losing something great, because you're losing the experience.
You said the experience that you learn on the job. The first thing that I thought of, that in these circumstances that you worked in, sort of learning on the job in a trial error type of way, isn't that risky? Or what happens if an agent fails or just makes a mistake?
Yeah, sure. So it is risky, but so it's why we're sending people abroad after a certain time, after 3 or 4 or 5 years. So you minimize the risk in doing so, because you're sending people that are more mature, maybe, and they know more. They know the job. Of course, every time there are mistakes. So during my career, I made some mistakes. Some were not important ones, and you can continue your mission. Some of them are people that are clandestine, and they're doing everything is fake, and they are not inside an embassy and protected by the embassy. So if they fail, they have to, if they have time. They have to come back and to stop immediately their mission, and it's not very nice to come back without having fulfilling your mission, because you've made a mistake and you had to come back. But sometimes you are arrested by the local services, and you are interrogated, and you are expelled from the country where you are. This occurred to I was the head of station at this time, so it was my deputy who was arrested and interrogated and expelled, and the mistake was a mistake of my station. I mean, we were moving too fast, and we have been located by the local services, and they gave us pretty tough time. So yes, sometimes you make mistakes and you try not to make them twice, and it's the way you learn. And after this experience, when I made this mistake, and when my team made this mistake, I think it was part of the learning curve. And when I came back to Paris, and when I was sent back again to another mission, I think I was better prepared, and because again, with the experience, and the experience of failure is also part of the learning process.
On the flip side of that, what is the most rewarding thing about your job?
The most rewarding, yeah. It's something very subtle. I think it's difficult to explain, but I think it's the same kind of pleasure of a journalist when you find a scoop. Do we say scoop in English? Yeah.
I don't think so, right? Like breaking news.
When you find, okay.
Yeah, when the journalist finds breaking news, something that nobody knows, and he finds the truth and he can publish it on the next day. I mean, this kind of pleasure is the same for the intelligence officer. When you try very strongly to get the truth, and one day you have this human source who tells you, this is it, this is what's going on. President Bashar in Syria, he's back here, he has a very good friend who knows all the secrets, and this is his phone number, I don't know, things like that. And you know that when you'll be back in your office, and you will write your message and send it back to Paris, to your headquarters, it will be gold, and you have gold in your hand. And so this is the reward, you know. You can't share it to your family, to your friends, but you send it to Paris, and they know, and you know that when they will receive this piece of information, they will jump of joy, and so yeah, it's rewarding. This is the kind of reward we get.
Right, by the way, when you get inside scoop, you get like insider information.
Yeah.
It is right. Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that would be very rewarding. You know, I think the flip side of that is that you can't, as you said, share it with people.
That must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
I know it'd be super difficult for me because I'm someone that if I do something, I want everyone to know about it. Do you ever have troubles with that when you were still active? No.
No, I think also it's an honor not to share. So it's good for the ego. An intelligence officer has to keep his ego very down, because it's a danger to have a high ego, because you can be recruited by another service, foreign service, because if you have a great ego, that's dangerous. So I think it's a good training not to. And the people inside the service, they will know that you're doing the good job. So, and that's enough. That's enough for the reward, I think. They know if you're good or not, and they are the professionals. So they are the one to convince. The people in the street, they don't know the business you're doing. So what's the interest to tell them? I just discovered just this and that, and they don't care.
Speaking of the people on the street, I think I have a question about misconceptions. So just as a very average outsider or civilian, the only, contact or idea that we would have about your job or what your job was is what we see in the movies. And I'm not sure how accurate that is.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that, something that you wish that more people knew about your job?
What are the biggest misconceptions?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I don't know if Bureau des Légendes, there is this French series which is very realistic, that have been made more or less in cooperation with my former service. So this television series is very realistic. And so when the people see this series, they have a good sense of what's going on inside. But the misconception is feeling that it's a life or with full of danger, full of energy, full of secrets and movie stuff and things, and in fact it's sometimes boring. It's because intelligence, it takes time. It's a very long process to recruit sources, to convince, to know them, to know how to convince them, and then to gather information, to cross informations, and it's not like a movie. It's a real life, and things to get the results, it takes a lot of time. So sometimes it's boring or nothing happens. It's still interesting though. It's a work in progress, but I think maybe this will be the great difference between a movie and the real life.
Just from listening to you in the short time that we've been together, it sounds like you learn a lot of transferable skills. So managing people, even managing your ego, I think is a transferable skill.
Incredible patience.
Yeah, patience as well. What are the growth opportunities as somebody who, obviously when you're in the Secret Service, there's that whole set of growth opportunities. But once you leave, you've done your YouTube channel. What are some of the other things that other people have done after they've left the service?
Interesting. I've made a series of podcasts for Magellan. It's a platform, a French platform, about what are the tools that can be useful for everybody's in the streets and the public. The tools used by intelligence officer that you can use yourself in your everyday life. So that was an interesting subject, of course, and so I've made 5 episodes of it. I think that some of the tools can be useful, but most of the things I have learned, I think, are specifically linked to my work inside the service. So you need the tools, you need the power of interceptions and all the things that you're losing when you're out of the job. So still, there are things that I can use every day. How to detect a lie, for instance. It's something that everybody will be happy to learn, and but in fact, it's very difficult to detect someone. You have very professional liars that are very good at it, and you can say, and when you have 15 years of experience like this, someone can still lie to me, and I won't see it. So the secret is to check with other people around, because you can't never trust anybody. You need technical proofs. You need proofs. You need checks. So that was one of the answers. Trying to see and to understand when someone is lying. It is not something you don't have a trick like that. He's crossing his legs, or she's checking her heads like that. She's lying, of course.
I think
no, it's not working like that.
Especially, maybe one more thing that separates the truth from movies. That that's what we see, that these agents just know everything, and there are these tricks. And I think that's just a very profound answer to know that is not necessarily how it works. So what if somebody, sees this podcast and they say, well, I want to be a Secret Service agent, but obviously I don't come from like a military background. Where do you start? When is it too late to start?
It's quickly. It's too late, because you have to come. Because all the career takes a lot of time. You have to be trained, and so you don't want to have people who come inside the service when they are 30, 40. So you really have to join at the end of your 20s, things like that. So you don't need to have a military background. It depends of the countries, but in France, in secret services, the military officers represents only 1/4 or 1/3 of the entire population. So it's mostly a civil service, and people are doing political science studies or for the secret agents parts, but you can also be technical guys, scientists, and there are many jobs, different jobs inside this kind of service.
You talked earlier about now taking more time for your family. How exactly was your work to life balance when you were working in the Secret Services? Were you able to leave work outside of the home, or was it hard?
Yeah, I think that's my wife told me that one of the positive points of this work was that when you leave your embassy and your office and all the secrets you have, you can't, as a security measure, you can't bring work at home, and you can't take your phone or your secret phone or with your codes, and because someone could enter your house and steal everything. And so when you come back home, it's over. It's you don't bring your work with you. So that's something good. But of course, you come back home late, and it's not true. So always that you won't be bothered by your work at midnight. Maybe sometimes you have a source, we have a serious trouble, and so they have a way to contact you. They call you or they send a message and they said, okay, emergency, I'm scared, I'm going to be arrested. And you can't say, okay, let's see that tomorrow at 8:00 when the office is open again. So you can, and if you have an hostage situation also, you'll be working all day long during the night and so on, try to gather information, to see where you see which group have abducted him and things like that. So yeah, it's a tough job when you have to deal with your family. You can't say what you're doing. Your family knows that you are working for a secret service. They know some details, but not all the details, of course, or it would be dangerous for them. So, and you don't want to enter in the game of what I've done today, or what did you, and the questions. Maybe your family will have lots of questions, and if you begin to answer to one question, you'll never stop. So no questions, no answers. That's the rule.
While you were in the Secret Service.
Once I was inside, if I wanted to change. Yeah, no. I really liked it. And my choice to stop was really, after 15 years, more or less, I really wanted to become a secret agent. And after 15 years, I had the view of what was the job, and I've done different postings and different responsibilities inside in Paris. So I know all the things, all the details I wanted to know, and so I could. So that's it. I could change and do something else. And my second career now, with my YouTube channels, with my books, and I hope with television and movies, it's also very interesting and rewarding and challenging also, because I like the challenge. I like the things when they change, when it's new.
And what was the hardest part of your job? What was the hardest part?
I mean, the times are, clearly the days or the weeks or the year when I was posted in Eastern Asia, and we were, my deputy was arrested and expelled, and we tried to calm down and then to work again, and we had another incident. We have a fake car accident, a fake robbery in one of their houses with gangsters having weapons and threatening the family. So that was hard. That was tough. That was, and I was in charge. They never did something personally to me, because I was the head of the service there. So I was the authority, and I was representing the service. So they didn't want to hit the head. So they hit all my deputies, and but I was the one in charge. So that was stressful, and that was that was a tough time. But I've learned a lot.
In a situation also like that, it seems like there's no escape, right? If the other Secret Service has something against you, what do you do to stop that? What solutions do you find in a situation like that?
Yeah, it's like a boxer. When you hit, you are close to knock down, and you have to hit back quickly, even if your head is not clear enough. You have to do something. So when I've been hit like that, you have to give orders and to send the feelings to Paris that you are still managing the situation, that you are still in control, that you have still ideas, that you have still ideas to, okay, we'll find a solution. So they have discovered this. This group of human sources have been compromised. So let's get rid of them. But let's make a break for 4 months. We'll do nothing, only cooperations, and be nice guys with the local services and sending them the signals that we have stopped and we understood the signals we have received. And then you start again to do your job, to do something secret and it's what we did.
That's fascinating.
With success and other failures also. But at least we tried.
I'm sure you have many good memories. What's your favorite memory, if you even have one, from your job?
Yeah, maybe my first mission abroad as a clandestine agent, when I crossed the frontier. I went to the airport with my fake IDs, and I had because I was going. I had a mission in a country in a desert. Yeah, and there was no bank system, nothing. So I had all my money, in banknotes, yeah, all about stripping like a gangster around my chest, and so I crossed the border like this, with the stress of it, but also the pleasure of being undetected, and so everything worked well. So that was the beginning of my mission, and it went well, and it was the secret. I was looking at my passport. That was my photo on it, but the name was fake, the address was fake, everything was fake, and I was still able to pass the controls of the custom officers. So that was a great memory.
Adrenaline and stress and anxiety in situations like that, because it's not I experience those highly anxious or highly stressed situations, and I'm living a very normal life, So are there tricks that you have or tricks that you use to manage?
Yeah, I have one trick, and you have to behave like a duck.
Yeah.
You know the duck, on the surface, they look very calm like this. Yes. Yeah, they're moving like this. But under the surface, they're moving a lot with the legs. So even though in your mind it's moving, it's shaking, it's you like to crazy in your mind, you have to. Your face is like a poker face, and so this is the trick. Try to send the signal that you are a very calm people, a very calm guy, even if it's not true.
How important do you think your mind is, or how powerful do you think your mind is in situations like that, or in situations in the Secret Service in general? How strong do you have to be mentally to get through those situations?
Yeah. I think you have to be pretty strong, but the human body is I have a the human body is made like when you have a danger, and I've listened to podcasts of gangsters who are robbing banks, and they explain this phenomenon also, that when you are facing a very deep danger, strangely you are very calm. And during one of operation, also during my life in the special forces, I remember a kind of fighting, and there was danger. There was it was shooting around me, And I was very calm, as if that the body was sending signals, said, okay, there's danger. No, don't mess around. You're going to lose your life if you don't behave calmly. And sometimes it works like that automatically.
What was I going to say?
It's what I experienced
the
myself.
Service is something that changes constantly, right? I mean, if we look back just dozens of years ago, like during the Cold War, it was completely different than now. How do you think the Secret Service is going to change in the future? Do you think it's going to continue on the same path, or is the whole industry, if you can call it, I don't know, is it going to change? More cooperation, less?
Yeah, interesting. For the study for my second books, when I have, I think that things are changing a lot, and things also are not changing at all. I mean, when you're dealing with a human being and you try to recruit and a relationship between a source and a case officer, I think this has not changed a lot. But what has changed is the way of working, the tools that you get, the technical tools improve every year. And it's why that in the foreign service, as a diplomat, in France, it's like that. So I don't know what the other countries do, but usually you can be sent abroad twice in a row, and then after twice, 2 years, 3 years in a posting abroad, you come back to Paris to do your work as a diplomat. But in the secret services, we don't do like that. I mean, you do your posting 3 years and then you come back, and then you go again and you come back, and you always have to come back because things are moving so fast that if you're not coming back to see and to witness all the changes, you won't be able to answer correctly to the questions because things have changed a lot. So you're right, it's changing a lot. And I think it's the technical ability, the capacities are changing, and you can do much more precisely. It's much more powerful than before. And secret services are, and that can be scary too also, because you feel that your secret services are gaining more control over lives and secrets than before.
On the field are not required anymore, where everything could be done through technology. Or do you think the human, you meeting with your source, is that always going to be useful, or is there a point where technology is going to be able to you're just going to be able to get any piece of information you want through technology? Do you think the human will ever be replaced in secret services?
That was the big mistake made by the Americans with the 9/11, and that was not one of these key lessons that they've made themselves. It was to rely too much on the NSA, their technical service, which is the most, from far, the most powerful technical service in the world. And they had the feeling that they could intercept everything, every piece of conversation and communication, and that gave them a sense of power. That was a fake one, and so all the operatives of the 9/11s, they did all their work with no communication. They meet together, they send couriers, and everything was hidden from a technical point of view. And so you needed human sources to give you the keys. And I believe that it will be always the case. And, no service in the world can work without human intelligence and technical intelligence. So you always have a need to have people on the ground, and this is my belief.
So I think we're getting close to the end, guys, right? So maybe we have the final question, which would be, what would be one piece of advice you'd give yourself when you were a 20-year-old? So the advice you'd give to your 20-year-old self.
Yeah, the advice I will give, continue to do like what you're doing. You're on the right track. And don't look at your failure, because your failure will give you the nice opportunities. I had a lot of failure, and they gave me access to what I did, and they gave me access to my passion. I mean,
I think a lot of us,
so go stick to the point. Go ahead.
In our 40s and 50s later in life, and just be able to look back and say, just do what you were doing. That's definitely a testament that you've made the right choice and have led an incredibly rewarding life and career.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I wish I need to go read your books on French.
Yeah, I can translate them for you. Yeah. We'll read them together. You'll sit on my lap.
Just on a personal level, how does it feel to have had one of those jobs that almost every child wants to have? You know, like when you're a kid, like I want to be like
an astronaut or
a secret service. How does it feel to have had one of those incredibly fascinating careers that, you know, everybody wants to have, and it's on the movies?
Yeah, it's the key of my the success I have with my books and my YouTube channels. It's because it is a fascinating thing, and it is secret also. So it helps. It's difficult also to not to cross the lines, because I can't say everything I could say everything I have in my head. So I have to check or to restrain the things I'm saying. But yeah, I mean it helps me to have this second career, because it is.
Thank you.
In fact, you're true. It's a fascinating job.
An honor.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Olivier Mas. It was great to have you on. And thank you.
Thank you for your questions and for your invitation again. Yeah.